With sandbox games becoming more and more frequent, it's getting hard for developers to compete with such big budget titles as Red Dead Redemption and Grand Theft Auto. But thanks to Sony's faith in a small company known as Sucker Punch, we were awarded in 2009 with the superhero action title, Infamous. Ever wanted to be the hero of the day, jumping from rooftop to rooftop, gliding across the skies and unleashing ultimate power onto the streets? Well, PlayStation's exclusive title Infamous from Sucker Punch lets you be that character in the sandbox game that urges you to tackle crime and chaos. This game has garnered much popularity since it hit in May 2009 and inspired a soon-to-be-released sequel in 2010. So let's see what all the fuss is about.
If I'm gonna dig myself out of this hole, it starts with her talking.
The game is set in the fictional environment of Empire City, a once beaming city that is blown apart in the opening scene of the game, and at the centre of it, the main character, Cole, who is you. Now, due to this incident, he is gifted with some crazy electric powers, and from there the game grows. As we explore the now ruined and crippled city, you can either choose to help or destroy the city, depending on your actions throughout the game. A nice feature of this game is how it has adopted the comic book-like approach to storytelling, as it helps dramatise certain parts of the story, as well as setting a kind of superhero mood to the game. Any fans of comics or superheroes will embrace this as you wreak havoc on villains or receive praise and thanks from helpless citizens. Now, if you're going to make a game about superpowers, you have to make sure it looks cool. And in Infamous, it looks awesome! Every time you use your abilities, a blue or red lightning can be seen all around you, and electricity seems to spill everywhere when you hit your enemy, and explosions feel quite powerful, which is great to watch, especially when you gain the ability to unleash electrical storms. Not to mention using other powers like gliding and sonic wave. Empire City itself looks very much grey and ruined in the beginning of the game, but as you progress you'll see the city start to rebuild or fall to ruins, depending on if you choose to be a good or evil character. For example, being good will brighten up the look of the city, as people will move around more freely, and buildings will tend to light up, giving the impression that you're helping the city get back on its feet. Yet if you decide to be an evil character, things will look more darker, with a red, cloudy sky overshadowing the city, and fires and people running scared on the streets. Whilst there are good animations throughout the game, the visuals aren't as impressive as other sandbox games such as GTA 4 or Red Dead Redemption. The sound is quite a strong point in Infamous, as its crisp sound with all the beats of electricity and explosions of power feeling really impressive. For me, I thought the voice acting in the game was quite exceptional, as the characters tend to really exude emotion into the story, as well as a fitting soundtrack that is resonant as you explore the city that is suspended when battling a huge boss. So while the graphics can be improved, the sound aspect of this game is out of sight.
But, hey, you're the only guy here who'd live from a fall like that. You gotta climb up there and knock that stuff free.
Now, as I've said previously, the game's story and environment depends on you being a hero of the people or an evil tyrant. This karma system has been done quite well, and although I like playing as the hero, I was able to feed my dark tendencies by vanquishing citizens in a red rage of electricity, who freak out whenever you are near. Infamous does a good job of making you feel like a badass or a gallant hero with these little touches. But into the heart of the gameplay is the freedom of this game. Here you can run, jump, climb anything, slide, and of course glide. My favourite part of this game was climbing to a huge building, jumping off, and gliding my way throughout the city, or dropping myself on an unsuspecting enemy that results in a huge boom. And while you're writing in your journal, gliding is awesome! As you progress through the game, more and more abilities will become available as Cole becomes more powerful by draining electric sources or by gaining experience through missions or defeating enemies. This is done by selecting the start menu and upgrading powers, which is quite a simple way to level up. Another cool part of this game is how you interact with the citizens of Empire City. Some will come up to you with cries of help or on missions. Others will be lying around wounded, which is you can choose to heal, capture, or leech. While the controls can be a bit greedy when climbing buildings, and it can be difficult dropping down or trying to get off a building in certain parts, the action is still sweet as a Georgia peach. Enemies have a range of attacking, and you'll need to dodge and avoid and duck for cover as much as you can. And switching through your powers is a cinch as you fire back powerful attacks in all electrified glory. As you progress through the game, the city gets bigger, the enemies get harder, and Cole gets all the more powerful. By the end of the game, you'll feel like the ultimate badass superhero ever seen on a game system. As you should know from my extensive view on the gameplay, there is a lot to this game. Climbing, jumping, blasting, it all feels stylish, and Sucker Punch have done well to provide a fitting superhero story to complement the gameplay. Sure, it can look a little grey and dullish at times, and there's no multiplayer aspect at all, but this game has such a cool and original feel that it is not to be missed. The karma system is a great feature, and with a suitably long story, and the second playthrough is more than welcome to help you keep playing. So with its strength and power, Infamous easily enters into my most recommended games.
With time, I'm learning to control it, master it. Just hope it's not too late.